Okay, this is what we're gonna do. What would save Hearthstone? What is gonna save Hearthstone, ladies and gentlemen? I have no idea. So that's why I asked Twitter, and clearly, you know, Twitter has the best opinion. So here we are. We're gonna see what the Hearthstone community sees about saving Hearthstone. What is their opinion on what will save the game? Risky Skipper and Standard. I'm sorry, but we're all out of Risky Skippers. And honestly, like, I don't want Risky Skipper to have to be like the card that Warrior needs for the rest of the game. So like, I want it back because I want its effect. But Risky Skipper, we need to move on, dude. Risky Skipper was like 3 years ago, or something like that. Shaman, we need Hearthstone Man, dude. We need Hearthstone Man in order to save the day. I think Hearthstone is doing fine, and here we have the duality of a meat man. Duality of meat man has never been so more skewered here, more skewered. Hearthstone is fine, and the whole reason why I made the tweet this way is so that way people would be like, "What do you mean Hearthstone's dying?" It's not dying, and this is why, and we're gonna go over it. But Hearthstone Man, Hearthstone is doing fine. I'm not sure how much more I can take of this dog shit meta. Yeah, I actually cannot remember a single meta where decisions within the game have so little impact on the outcome of the game. And honestly, that's the whole reason why I'm doing this right now, because I am so sick of Sinful Brand, Zoc, and all that other garbage right now. Esports and fun events for viewers like global games. And we've been saying this for years, dude. We have been saying this for years, that, like, we need just fun events. And that's the reason why I'm throwing a tournament. And that's the reason why I want to, like, actually, like, have a fun set of rules again. So that way, like, you know, working with a team, being able to communicate with a bunch of people, having, like, a certified warrior pilot and, like a mage pilot. Like, that was really, really fun to me, you know? And I would love for something like that to be a thing again. But unfortunately, like, there's no way to monetize it to where it doesn't lose a lot of money. And trust me, I feel like that's the main reason why we're not getting a lot of esports stuff, is because they lose money on it and they don't really get, you know, any benefit. And it's not like this is an advertisement of the game, even though it should be looked at as such, but it's not. So it's just, I don't know, man. Like, the only way that we're gonna be able to entice people to play more Hearthstone is if we have more events like this that encourage fun gameplay versus just being the best, because not everyone wants to be the best in Hearthstone anymore, you know? Shutterwalk and Standard, you wild players are freaking out of your mind. I'm just gonna say that right here. Shutterwalk and Standard would literally be unleashing the floodgates, and I am not for it. Something that livened up Overwatch as well, overly customizable lobbies, I can dream. And this has been something that I think Celeste's been talking about forever. Celeste's been talking about, like, you know, better spectating features, customizable lobbies, another way to make the game fun, to make it more relatable to more people. We just really need more things in Hearthstone that encourage community building, because tournaments are a big thing within card games of any genre. So just give us ways to do this, and I promise you Hearthstone becomes way more popular and damn near will have a resurgence. What will save Hearthstone? A purpose. Again, going back to, like, you know, if we had a reason to play, if we had a purpose to play the game, then, like, it would change everything. Being able to create lobbies for tournaments would be so fun. So you're telling me you want a tournament mode? Okay, tournament mode, yes, 100%. Turns out, oh my god, yet again, dude, yet again. Turns out not having a real competitive scene that is more than a handful of people can go for makes a game slowly but surely die. We need more stuff that incentivizes people, man. Being able to wager gold would make it interesting. I feel like that's an easy way to get people bullied out of their gold. You know? Like, hey kid, join my tournament, you'll have fun, and then, oh, wait a minute, kid, what happened to all your gold? I took it like your lunch money. Yeah, I don't know if an entry fee would be the way to do that. Alright, hear me out on this one. Hearthstone 2.0, can't believe I gave this one out for free. Next one will cost you, though. Honestly, this is going to probably be my next tweet. What would Hearthstone 2 include? I do not want Hearthstone to go down the Overwatch approach. And yes, after Overwatch 2, let's not ask for a Hearthstone 2. Because the last thing that we need is to have, like, a bunch of promises within the game that aren't met. Hearthstone, I feel like, is the most honest Blizzard property right now. Where it's like, with the pre-orders, you get what you pay for. You get, like, honest communication from the devs. There's a lot of communication within Hearthstone that is not available throughout other video games. And they actually, like, We have like, you know, patches pushed off every now and again, but that's usually not the norm. Usually the Hearthstone dev team and the designers are on target in terms of like their schedules and their if we say we're gonna do it at this date, it's gonna happen on this date. But if we make Overwatch 2, or I'm sorry, if we make Hearthstone 2, I feel like the only benefit it would really have is like cleaning up the code, and that will take a lot of effort. And I feel like just like Overwatch had, you would have a period of 2 years where no one is playing Hearthstone and no one is updating Hearthstone, and as they're working on Hearthstone 2, and then by the time that it's here, it's dead on arrival because no one wants to play Hearthstone anymore. And it's like, there was a resurgence of Overwatch players when the Overwatch 2 came out, but it quickly died out when people realized this is just Overwatch 1.1. So, I would rather not have Hearthstone 1.1. But there might be conversations about this in future videos. A rotating format. I've been dying to play the Nox Ramas GVG meta since Classic came out. I would also somewhat agree with this. Like, this is what everyone's opinion on what Classic is going to become. It's just going to become like the eternal format where you can go into any game mode. One thing I'm worried about in particular is that if the player base is not big enough, there'll literally be like maybe like 3 people waiting in like the grand tournament event or whatever. It's like, hey guys, you remember the grand tournament? I want to play some of that expansion, and there's going to be no one that wants to play that. It's literally just Overwatch, but with a much more predatory monetization system. Yep, and I don't want Hearthstone having even more predatory monetization as well. That would just kill the game. That's the easiest way to kill the game, is making people pay more money for less actual perks. Less Twitter discourse! Yes, dude. Yes. I would also agree with this. What would save Hearthstone is less Twitter discourse and less people getting angry with each other. I'm not gonna lie, dude. Like, I was fine with the Nubercon, then I saw a tweet that talked about how bad a Nubercon was, and now every single time I get a Nubercon, I'm like, God damn it, I hate this card even more now. Now, granted, I probably would have found that information by myself, and I would have had this, you know, this opinion form. Twitter sometimes makes you want to jump on the hate train very easily. Alucia back? Out of your mind, Daigo. Banned. Hold on a minute. Let me just block him real quick. Add an EDH mode. EDH-like mode for casuals where all the cards are owned. This is a take that I see a lot, and I wonder if it would actually be better for Hearthstone if there was like a way for more casual players that are fine with spending like $10 a month or whatever. Like in Marvel Snap, they pay $10 a month, they get a card, and they can keep like a full collection if they stay with the game. If they were to do something like this in Hearthstone, I'm not sure how good it would be. Because you're essentially paying $10 to play with the cards, but you don't actually like own them. And then at the end of the year, you just get all of that taken away. But then there is the case, like, you played with what you wanted. So it's like, me personally, I like the idea of having my cards. But at the same time, it's not like anyone's gonna be taking them away from me. But I would feel a little bit different if I paid like this much amount of money and then suddenly some was being taken away. But I'm constantly being given an actual full collection. Or like, I would hate for them to do it where it's like, we're gonna pay $10 for you to have all of the mage and neutral cards. And then if you want every single other class, it has to be $10, and then suddenly like everyone's spending like $100 a month to get a full collection. And it's like, I would absolutely hate that kind of monetization model, you know? It's interesting to think about, but I feel like it would get very predatory very, very fast, where it's going to go from owning the entire collection to owning one class to owning half the whatever. Like, I am fine with the mini set being like, you buy it and then the cards are yours, and then if you want to dust them, you can do that. But I don't know if this is a good thing for the game. Viable competing game which invests in esports scene and new player experience to wake Blizzard up. This game may have done its course though, unfortunately, but BG's probably makes more money sad days. Okay, so something to know about Prancing Pony is that this guy was an organizer of Hearthstone competitive players. He organized a Discord where and there was a lot of like practice tournaments. There was something called the Pony Dojo where people would practice Masters Tours lineup, and I had the pleasure of being able to be in this group when I did Masters Tour one time, and God, I would love to do it more. But competitive Hearthstone literally adds so much more passion behind the game, and having at least like an entry level, this is something that I've been begging for since like 2019. If we had like open cups were like that system. And now we don't even have open cups anymore. So, like, I would love, like, an entry-level, like, let's play some Hearthstone tournaments that aren't necessarily against, like, the best players in the world, where you're not going to go up against, like, Bunny Hopper or whatever, but you'll go up against, like, someone else within your skill level that also really wants to learn more about the game. And tournaments go an extremely long way. You don't really even need that much money behind them. Obviously, you need to, like, pay admins and stuff like that. So, again, this is a money issue all freaking day. It's always been a money issue. But, oh my god, dude. Being able to invest within the esports scene is going to make more people want to play the game. And I know I've been saying this a lot throughout the video, but it's incentive. All we need is more incentive. More Nemsy skins? Isn't there like 13 of those? I don't think we need any more. I don't think we need more. Esports back! See, dude? Esports back! Another person wants esports. We gotta bring it back, Blizzard. I think Hearthstone is pretty fun, actually, but something that I would love to see is getting one pack of every expansion once a year so you can enjoy more of the older packs. This is a pretty good idea for wild players. And I think they've been kind of doing this a little bit more with, like bundles. I would like the idea of, like, bundling a whole bunch of wild cards, and they're kind of doing that already. The only issue with that is there are way more cards that are more useless, because if you don't buy by expansion, then you have cards that don't synergize together, and you have what I like to call the Yu-Gi-Oh! Effect, where you have, like, 2 cards of every single archetype, but nothing that actually works together, and I would not want that for Hearthstone. And you can, like, kind of choose your pack. What if... Oh, wait, that's an idea. What if you were able to choose which pack you got at the end of the season? So say you already, like, you were someone that already bought all the new expansions and you want an older expansion. I think you should have that choice. That'd be a good idea. It's already saved? Not yet, because we don't have esports. A goal to reach in-game tournament mode that could use esports in-game or even queue up some tournament run where, for example, you could put in a bracket with rules you choose, King of the Hill, Conquest. Reward could be cosmetic or just increasing your EP-ness. I mean, hey, dude, if I know anything about the internet, it's all about increasing that EP. But I think this is a good idea. I mean, it's just essentially saying tournament mode. Tournament mode, but, you know, you can use rewards and cosmetics to, you know, entice the player to want to play. What if, instead of giving skins out to be bought with gold or money, not gonna happen, Blizzard, because they want their money, but what if there is a way to earn, like, a special portrait for doing, like, a tournament mode with your friends or whatever? Kind of like how there was the card back for Fireside Gatherings. Like, again, cosmetics can go a very long way, and I can't tell you how long I rocked that card back in particular because it was considered rare. Wrath of Air Totem come back? I feel like this just fundamentally makes Shaman worse, though, as much as I hate to admit. An environment where every new expansion, new cards and decks can be played, but not be oppressive. Imagine that. This is the thing that comes with designing, man. Like, you would rather have a card be overpowered and nerf it, rather than having a new card arrive and be less powerful and then have to buff it, and then you have, like, a Luna's Pocket Galaxy effect. Like, the one thing that kind of sucks about this as well is that... Because then you have the other idea where it's like, there's literally 2 sides. Cards aren't powerful enough, Blizzard didn't do it right. Or cards are too powerful, Blizzard didn't do it right. Like, it's really hard to find that middle ground, because if there's one deck that has new cards that's really oppressive, people are just going to point at that being like, Blizzard, why didn't... Like, there's just so many fires, according to this person's, like, idea, that would have to be put out, and that's just not going to happen. There's too much whack-a-mole. And there we go, playing whack-a-mole in Wild more often. Like, it would save Hearthstone Wild if we were to actually, like, nerf the problematic cards in Wild. But the whole idea of the Wild format is that it's supposed to be a place where you play your old decks, and cards are hopefully not nerfed all too often. But there are the power outliers like Twig. If a card has an 80% win rate, you gotta deal with it. And I feel like Wild may need a revamp of some kind versus just playing Whack-A-Mole. It's the main reason why I don't play the format. It's already had a long run, and still has engaged an active player base. The idea that it needs saving is either for engagement bait or, crap, I fell for the bait. Hook, line, sunk 'em. Honestly, it's doing fine. Only public numbers I saw had Hearthstone doing some of its best in years. Honestly, this is something I feel like is important to point out. Hearthstone is, like, doing really good compared to how it was a couple of years ago. Like, it may not be in its peak, but it is on the up and up. And I really do believe that. In-game tournament mode. Yep, more tournament mode. Can't really deny that. Ways to share decks and collections with friends in a very similar way that you can do with physical trading card games. Sharing in just 1v1s limits the fun to a revolving door around the person with the collection instead of everyone in a friend group getting to just play the cards and try decks out. I mean, I would argue this is a redundant point, because if I have a collection and I'm like sharing my screen on Discord and I'm like, hey man, do you want to play some Hearthstone? Here's my collection, let's take a look together. I can quite literally make the deck still, and they can the sharing 1v1 is quite literally what you're asking for, except you apparently want to go so far to share your account essentially, or to share the cards on your account with your opponent in like a game mode, and I feel like that's just unnecessary, you know? Like, literally, you get in a Discord server, you share your screen, and you can do exactly this without designers, like, banging their head against the wall to try and create a UI that's not going to confuse people doing this. Like, the 1v1 literally makes this happen. Like, am I crazy? I think this is what's going on here, man. A comprehensive system to retain and onboard new players with monthly rotating free standard decks. I don't really know if you need monthly rotating standard decks, but we already have people getting free decks. So, I mean, that's one way to maintain new players, and the rewards that you get at the end of the season are much better than it used to be, man. You got, like, an epic card and maybe some gold at the end of the season for, like, the most ridiculous climb in the world. How about a monetization model where we don't have to spend hundreds a year to be meta relevant? That's just card games, dude. Like, you want to play Magic the Gathering instead, where you have to spend $500 on one deck? Do you want to play Yu-Gi-Oh, where you have to do something very, very similarly? Like, spending hundreds of dollars a year to be meta relevant in any game, like, if you want to be meta relevant in any game, you have to spend hundreds of dollars. Like, that's just how the world works, unfortunately. A fishing minigame? A game is not an actual game without a fishing minigame. Magic the Gathering standard cost. Exactly. Hearthstone is a bargain in comparison. And this is something that kind of makes me crazy about this, man. It's like, we give you free decks, we give you free cards, we give you incentives at the end of the season depending on how much you play. There are lots of ways to get free cards in Hearthstone. You get drops for literally having a Twitch streamer tabbed. Not even paying attention, but just tabbed. They give you so much free shit, dude. Like, I have to make that point. I'm a little late here, but a way to bring in new players. I saw Hearthstone add another game, but it was for Witchwood? Okay, Hearthstone advertising is awful. Alright, I will go ahead and say this. Hearthstone advertising is absolutely awful. They don't do what they need to do to grasp the audience that they're trying to grab, you know? Like, for example, I don't know how good the advertising on TikTok is. And every single time I see TikTok content, it doesn't perform very well. And there seems to be a lot of resources allocated to that. And now, granted, this may be like, you know, an investment. They're trying to plant the tree, and then eventually, you know, something will grow from it. But I believe there are other avenues to be able to advertise the game, such as, you know, on Twitch. I think you got to give up on YouTube at this point. If it happens, it's going to be through content creators. But the biggest thing that I would like to see with Hearthstone advertising is advertising more things in game, and more of like the community stuff with like Theorycraft streams. Again, fun tournaments, dude. Like, it goes such a long way. Your esports scene is an advertisement of what the actual game looks like. And if we had more of that, it would really help. Give Warrior back Battle Rage? What do you mean? You mean roaring applause isn't good enough for you? Serious answer, it's fine. More events, maybe. I like to see more small tournaments get broadcast. Boom! Dude, again, how many times are we going to see this take on this tweet? Like, my god, people want to be able to play in small tournaments, Blizzard. Please make this happen. Like, it would massively increase the game's popularity. It really would. It would pay for itself at some point. Granted, I don't have the numbers to be able to prove this, but god damn it, man. The amount of people that have said they want tournaments. I make Hearthstone content on TikTok, and I can tell you their videos didn't bring in any new players. I am for sure. Boom! Thank you, Finals. Maybe you should be their TikTok manager since you know so much about the platform. There's a way to hit it, and I don't think they're doing it right. And it's like, at the same time, I feel like people on TikTok don't want to be talked to by brands, if that makes any sense. But it's like, they don't want Hearthstone Twitter. Okay, this is just the example. People on TikTok do not want the Hearthstone TikTok account to tweet something weird. They want their content creators that play Hearthstone to tweet out something weird. Okay, I'm using tweet as post, but you get the point. Like, they don't want the brand. They want the content creator as the face of the brand on that website, maybe. Again, maybe I'm just out of touch. I don't do TikTok for a reason, okay? I barely do Twitter, and the only reason why I'm on Twitter is because gaming. But other than that, I just don't social media because I despise social media. I really do. I don't like the idea of... I don't like how much time I spend on Twitter, case in point. Honestly, though, it's so wild how they just announce things on the subreddit as well. It's gigantic. And that's another thing. Advertising on Reddit goes a long way because that's where that traffic is. People want to see that information on that Reddit. And I feel like there just needs to be a better allocation of resources that are actually going to make it to the eyes of the people that are going to want to see this versus people that just see it on whatever social media and just immediately scroll past it. Every month, a set that rotates into standard for only a month. That'll keep the game fresh. Yes, some combos will be broken, but for a month. They could also ban cards from standard if too busted. I mean, the one thing I don't like about this is that it changes too much, you know? Where it's like, hey, we brought in Cube, and then like... Okay, I guess I shouldn't use Cube as an example, but just to use it as an example, like, what if we brought in Kobolds and Catacombs? We brought it in for a month with this new expansion, and then afterwards, we rotate into something else. The reason why I don't believe this would make the game fresh is because for a month, we're just gonna see, like, the same couple of decks. It won't give the meta enough time to really change all too much. And if there's one card that's problematic, people aren't going to want to ban it, or they're not going to want to change it because it'll be, oh, we'll just have a rotation in a month, and that'll always be the go-to. So if we had a monthly rotation with, like, one set coming out, one set going in, like, I feel like it actually creates more problems because actual problematic cards won't get banned, or they won't get nerfed unless they're problematic in multiple different months, and then it's just going to prolong how long the card reigns on top. Versus if we have a set amount of cards for this amount of time, we can fix what's problematic within this amount of time, so that way when we make the next set, it hopefully won't be a problem. You hate social media, but you are doing one of the best jobs I've seen with your tweets on Twitter. See, and that's because I'm doing what I enjoy off of social media, and that is talking about Hearthstone, meeting up with other Hearthstone creators, and potentially being able to do this as a career. I hate to say it, I do hate social media, but I literally can't not do it because as a creator, and as a musician, and as someone that has to put my own shit out there, there is no other way to make it happen. There is just no other way to make it happen. I have a better idea. Let's ban Priest from Constructed. I don't care if it doesn't accomplish anything, just ban Priest. I'm actually surprised we haven't seen somebody talk about, like, a ban system on, like, Ladder yet. Look forward to Hearthstone at the Asian Games. Isn't this, like, because something Olympics? I don't think Hearthstone should belong in the Olympics, but I wouldn't say no to it. Like, I don't like the idea of gaming at the Olympics. I just don't think it's the right audience. Like, if you're gonna do a gaming Olympics, it needs to be its own entirely separate thing, where actual people that care about gaming are the ones in charge, and we don't have, I was literally about to say tic-tac-bow be an Olympic sport. Because I'm sorry, that's old people that are trying to connect to an audience, or that is just trying to sell a product, because no one's heard about it until suddenly it's on the Olympics site. And there are so many, like, freaking conspiracy theories that I have about this, man. And I just, not really that it needs saving, it's just old news now, so a lot of people have moved on. They have to add something completely new in left field, like when Battlegrounds was released. I don't really think Hearthstone needs to strike lightning twice anymore. Like, try doing that with Mercenaries. Like, they tried doing that with Mercenaries, where they come up with a new game mode that would, like, revolutionize how people, like, look at Hearthstone content. But I feel like that's just limiting what the game can actually do. Because, there is an amazing, idiom, metaphor. There's an amazing metaphor that I have in order to, describe what Hearthstone was doing with Mercenaries. This is the best advice that I've been giving in the music industry, okay? It is, instead of, and it's gonna sound weird, instead of boiling the ocean, you need to grab a pot of water and boil one pot at a time. So instead of boiling the entire ocean where you're trying to do everything all at once, You just focus on what you can and boil that one pot. And then once that one pot is boiled, you grab another pot of water, then you boil that pot. And then suddenly you're making spaghetti for, you know, an actual amount of people. Versus, all right, guys, one of these days the ocean's going to be boiling. One of these days. Any minute now. I'm really hungry, but any minute now. And that's pretty much what the, what that is entailing, is that if we had more focus on the standard format, on the wild format, and on the battlegrounds format, and if there are more people focusing on mercenaries, giving it the attention that it needed, it would have been a good game mode. I don't think that mercenaries was necessarily a bad game mode. It was just completely confusing, riddled with monetization, and when the gameplay was finally released, people were like, this is it? And that's the main reason that I feel like Mercenaries failed, is because they just didn't communicate things properly. When it became fun, they gave up. Like, I guess that's like the opinion that a lot of Mercenaries people have. Tournament mode, and with recent news, here's a wild idea. Somehow detached from Activision Blizzard to be its own independent game. Bro, they have all the money, though. As much as I would like to detach Activision from Blizzard, like, they make the money, and it sucks. Hearthstone 2, I really don't think we need Hearthstone 2, man. I really don't think we need Hearthstone 2. In-person esports again? This might be happening. This might be happening because BlizzCon got announced this year, so that's a big deal. The meta is fine. They need to look at the user interface, various software quality issues, and at the pricing and business model. This game is looking pretty dated. The meta is fine. I agree with that. If they took a look at the user interface, various software program quality issues, this is just quality of life that he's talking about. I also agree with that. At the pricing and business model, Hearthstone is looking pretty dated. I mean, dated compared to what? The only other game that would even be able to compare itself with its business model and pricing is Marvel Snap, and I think Hearthstone has a way better pricing model than Marvel Snap, because Marvel Snap was one of those games where you either spend $10 a month to get the new card, or you're spending hundreds of dollars on all the cosmetics and all the other stuff the game is giving you. With Hearthstone, I literally spend $80 at the beginning of the expansion, and that's it, until the next expansion comes out, and sometimes, you know, mini sets. But I buy things with gold. I can pretty much just pay $80 at every 3 months, and I can play Hearthstone no problem. There is not a lot of card games where you can do that. And I am also playing a lot of the classes and a lot of the decks. I am playing variety. I just don't understand where like, how it's dated. 2-on-2 mode. I actually agree with this, Mr. NFT. The only way that I'm going to agree with an NFT person. But yes, 2-on-2 mode would be amazing. I would love to have a 2v2 mode. The biggest question that I actually tweeted out, though, is would it be 2v2 or could it be 1v1v1v1 where it's everyone versus each other? 4-player Hearthstone is really interesting to think about. Going back to like the last 5 years of cards, mass nerfing nearly every card release since then, and then bring the meta down to a more enjoyable level without massive power creep. So you're pretty much saying to revamp the entire card collection to be within the same power level. I don't think that's the direction we should be going, but at the same time, that kind of isn't the direction we are going, but we're doing this with nerfing and with buffing when you think about yearly rotations and yearly reverts that happen. I feel like that's fine. Once a year, we have like cards that rotate that get reverted into wild or whatever. But I think that if we did this all at once, it would get kind of messy. Cards with random effects now trigger an additional 1 to 3 times? Wait, what? Dude, this guy should be a card designer. I don't know what card or what class it should go in, but imagine like Arcane Missiles casts an additional 1-3 times kind of thing. That'd be kind of funny. 2v2 game mode in ranked? How do you rank this though? Because then you have like a team, and it's like you can like you have to have like a person you go into ladder with, or you get paired with a random teammate. Bro, I don't want my random teammate to dis-synergize with my deck. That's one thing I'm actually worried about with 2v2, is that I'd have to, like, it's the same thing with like all gaming with teams. You either go in and have the synergies already established because you know each other, or you go in with a random and then you have to deal with them not playing the game properly, and you're gonna get mad at your teammate. I don't know about that, man. Just give me customizable rules. That'd be a great way to start. Customizable rules would be a good start, like a sandbox mode. Sandbox mode. Telling you, Blizzard, to be a good idea. You can thank me later. Make sure to make my royalties will be in my email. Okay, I'm expecting to see them. Tournament mode akin to RLs. One starts every few hours, has entry few. There are a few skill tiers. Could become a 16-player best of 3 with semis and finals being best of 5. Obviously not exact, but I think people like to compete other than ranked. Again, this is the main thing we've been talking about. Yes, please, Blizzard, bring us something. Open Cups, a beginner league, intermediate league, something. Give me something to enjoy. Koalas? Hearthstone needs koalas. Okay, this is kind of funny because I think on my last tweet, this guy put a bunch of Yu-Gi-Oh! Koalas. But yeah, this guy knows what's up, though. Hearthstone 2, no thank you. Bring prices down of everything. It's already cheap. The only thing that needs to be done, too, is the price scaling in other countries. Then I would agree with you. A meme league. I think having a tournament where Raffle, Mark are in the finals would be awesome. Or I guess Rarin or Jordan MGs could host them doing a meme off. I would totally watch that. I think this is pretty good idea. Where it's like a meme league where you have like a weekly or a monthly like tournament or whatever of like, I mean, not necessarily content creators, but like people within the community that are well known. Because there's definitely like a lot of like deck builders that are good at like, you know, Warlock, good at like Warrior or whatever. The Discord of Dead Man's Hand Warriors would be a good idea to like invite to something like this. Like more ways of being able to incorporate more people. And especially if you have like, you know, big names like Rothel and Mark McKay-Z attached to it, then I think this has some potential, man. Where it's like every week or every month, whatever they would do this, it's like, here's today's meme, build a deck with cards that only have the letter E in it. Like very basic example. You know, you have so many different directions you could go with this, you know. Dracar revert? Dude, you're insane. Money? I mean, I always like more money. Tempo Reynad is our only hope. I mean, he left though. Reynad is like our dad that went to the grocery store for cigarettes. And then you're like, wait a minute, they don't sell cigarettes at the grocery store anymore. At least not the one that I'm at. Oh god, he left us. The Bounce team not really listening to community members when evaluating changes. Rather, they use internal data and stop listening to Twitter Discord. It's getting annoying. Wait. Not making a game a complete RNG fiesta? A little bit of fun, but goddamn, games are 99% RNG now? That's like saying that you're mad about a dice game because you play with dice. I'm sorry, but there are 6 chances, or there are 6 options and only 1 correct guess. Yet, you know, I wouldn't even argue that like this meta is even a clown fiesta in terms of RNG. This is a very tame meta in terms of what the RNG cards do. It's not like Puzzle Box or, you know, Rune is in the front run of the meta. I don't know, dude. Releasing 145 cards in mini sets East expansion, only having less than 10% of the cards matter is a problem. It starts with design and balance, in my opinion. Like Marvel Snap, quality over quantity any day for me. Okay, I don't think you can use Marvel Snap as an example of talking about how, you know, less than 10% of the new cards mattering is a problem. Because Marvel Snap is quite literally changing its meta like every other week. And that's not even like clickbait. That's literally something they're doing. Like every 2 weeks, I think cards are getting changed. Because they're trying to like constantly like change the excitement of the game. Trying to make sure that decks that are problematic are dealt with. Yeah, literally every week, dude. Every single week. And I would hate that if that was a thing in Hearthstone. Like, I log into Marvel Snap and it's like suddenly my decks are completely different. And I don't really enjoy, like, having to figure out something else. Like, I enjoy a deck for 2 weeks and it gets changed. Like, that's not a lot of time to enjoy a deck. So, I'm not really sure about this, man. Like, less than 10% of the cards mattering is definitely a problem. But it's hard, during the first expansion of a year for, like, really new archetypes to evolve if the old cards are still very, very good, you know? Like the Anubricons of the meta. And we kind of experienced this problem with Voyage where we didn't have any lethality, you know? So it's just like, this happens around this sort of, this time of year. Nerfing Relic Demon Hunter before it becomes 80% of the meta? I would also like Relic Demon Hunter to be nerfed, but that is more of a personal vendetta than a balanced vendetta. Making free-to-play more competitive and engaging, it's more pay-to-win, and it makes it not fun. I mean, dude, it's a card game. I'm sorry, but Yetis aren't going to be good. Like, again, we've talked about this. Hearthstone is the best free-to-play card game on the market. That is just objective fact. Alright? I don't even think Marvel Snap takes that for all the people that love Marvel Snap. Free to play and not pay to play. It's a card game. Less paid. Oh, God, dude. 3 in a row. 3 in a row, dude. Guff needs to come back and everything will be great again. As much as I love Druid, you are wrong. You are biased and that... goodbye. No. Nothing? Oh, that is not an opinion I was expecting to see. Nothing will save Hearthstone. Alright, get rid of Discover now and forever. Make the cost of removal much higher. So you can actually play big stat minions again so they don't get fucked with a 1 or 2 mana card. I don't think we need to get rid of Discover. But I do kind of agree with, like, I play big minion, they remove it for 1 mana. That makes me very frustrated. You know, the light it burns being a very obvious example. Someone who can use his or her brain and isn't biased towards a priest and druid? I'll just let him have it. I'll just let him have it. What are these other replies? 2 out of 3 games, in my opinion, doesn't need saving, but I think 2 out of 3 would be a lot more fun. Oh, so 2 out of 3 Why was this hidden? Why was this hidden, dude? This is actually, like, a better tweet than some other people were making. But 2 out of 3 game, like, 2 out of 3 ladder would be interesting, but I don't know if it would save Hearthstone, but it would, like, one thing I would kind of like is, what if there was a way to implement, like, a retreat mechanic in Marvel Snap into Hearthstone? Where if you know that you're just so unfavored that, like, you don't want to take the 5% chance to win the game, you just drop out without losing that much ranks or something like that. And you get, like let's just say you get three strikes, I guess. We'll just call them strikes because I can't think of another word. Where it's, like, 3 times a day, if you go up against a deck that you really didn't like, you could just, you know, pretend the loss didn't happen. I think that'd be kind of interesting, but the moment that you, the moment you launch that and then you have, like, competitive rewards, I think it would get a little bit crazy. But at the same time, 3 a day, and that's it. And if you play, like, 300, like, if you play, like, 100 games a day or something, okay, hold on, maybe not 100. If you play, like, 50 games a day, like, that's still, you know, only saving 3 losses. I don't know. I think it's an interesting idea. But we have reached the end of the tweet. Boom, look at all these replies. So, you know, if you like this kind of content, feel free to like this video and subscribe to the YouTube channel to be notified about any of our future updates. And we're going to be posting more stuff on Twitter, so it's just more reason to be involved in Hearthstone Twitter, which I feel like is... it's Twitter at the end of the day, but it's one of the better communities on the Twitter community. So, what are you going to do? But thank you for making it to the end of this video, and we'll see you at the next one.